All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R movement still moving. What black women don't get about black men? Can't speak for all men, just the title. Okay, had a video a long time ago saying what Africans don't get about African Americans. So it's along that title in a sense. Um, One thing is, you know, and Xing out the part of men who are actually taking advantage of the confusion and the animosity. I'm speaking outside of that part. I'm not in that part right now. That's maybe that's for another day. One thing will be when we give constructive criticism is actually out of love, not hate. Because y'all said y'all wanted certain things, and we're trying to tell you how to achieve those certain things. And because uh, to us, a lot of what happened is over time, y'all lost y'all femininity. So for some odd reason, y'all in competition with men with this feminism and equality thing, and y'all go about y'all endeavors thinking that y'all using a male's mindset when you're not. So when you're making mistakes because you think this is how a guy would do it, we're trying to tell you, well, it's not. It'll work if you do this. It's not going to work if you do that because we don't operate in that part of the realm. If you're trying to compete and be equal on a man's terms, we completely think it's ridiculous because if you sit in your own energy in your space as a woman, but you will perfectly you'll do just fine. But since you don't want to do it, okay, well I'm gonna tell you, as a woman that'll work. As a woman, that's not gonna work. And a lot of ladies have a problem and anger towards us because when we try to tell y'all certain things don't work, y'all think we hating or we jealous, and it's like, no, but fine. When it comes to the aspect of dealing with other women and other races of women, with quote unquote the sisterhood, or dealing with other races of men and swirling, I mean, the thing about that is this: we know there are positives and negatives to everything. If you're doing it for the right reasons, by all means go. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, by all means you're gonna have some issues. And a lot of times we try to tell y'all is, I mean, if you're gonna do stuff for the wrong reasons, these are the red flags. These are things you need to watch out for. These are the warning signs. This is what's gonna happen over time. And since you're gonna play yourself, you know, you got to know that these other people gonna play you too. So at least I guess get what you somehow wanted at the end of the day. If you're gonna do it that way. And a lot of times y'all don't take heed to our advice because you know I think for the most part in this era, black women have been trained to dismiss, disrespect, disregard black men, and a lot of times when we're making sense, your ego gets you fucked up in the game because you don't see it coming, and we don't see how you don't see it coming, but that's a whole nother story. When it comes to uh, relationships, um, I guess because I was raised by my grandparents, I have a different mindset about relationships because I know my grandparents and my great grandparents don't like the modern day woman. And I'm gonna tell you why. The modern day woman, as compared to my grandparents and great grandparents, like my parents or my siblings or generation, um, when y'all looking for the modern day man, or when y'all, I'm gonna go back a little bit. Y'all don't do half the stuff that those women did, but y'all want more of the respect than those women have, and that's not gonna work. And of course, there were dysfunctional women in that, but those dysfunctional women got dealt with by other women. Like they didn't have it was no complete sisterhood where everybody could just do fucked up shit. Like if a woman put another woman in check, really wasn't a big deal, you know. So, that's why when it comes to relationships, it's different because um, the modern day woman does not know how to have a man's back, and that's just along most racial lines. Like y'all have your own expectations, y'all have your own wants and desires, y'all have your own standards of what you want, but when it's time to reciprocate to the man, like you might do for the family, i.e. the kids, but when it comes to the man, it's like he's on his own. So my grandparents and great grandparents didn't operate like that. They did for the family and they did for their husband. Same way granddad did for family, he did for his wife. Same thing with great granddad, right? So sometimes y'all asking for that old school man, but you really don't know that you wouldn't treat that old school man properly. And some of y'all meet and date that guy with that old school man's mentality, mindset, and actions, and y'all don't treat him properly. And then you wonder why, you wonder where the good men are. Well, you can't how can I say this? You can't respect a no good man and disrespect a good man and think a good man is gonna stay. That's not gonna work. Even with this interracial thing, a lot of times we try to tell y'all is, I mean, to a degree, y'all putting out to the world in the perceptions wise, at least for the last few decades, that the guy that you complain about that ain't no good and ain't shit, you'll date him though. You'll be in relationships with him. You'll marry him. You'll have kids with that guy, which has created this society that we live in that you're complaining about. And at the same time, the guy that's the opposite of that, that's you don't your excuses for not being with him are ridiculous. He's corny. I don't like the way he dresses. I don't like his laugh. I don't like his swagger. I think he's boring. But you'll put up with lying, cheating, you know, getting STDs, down low men, and gamblers who lose all the money, and lazy guys that got you, feeling overly masculine because you got to pay their way everywhere, and you don't want to take care of no man, but at the same time, you taking care of this guy, and you lack the effort when you're with a man that actually is bringing his masculinity to the table. So you going out of your way for no good men, and you're leaving good men off to the side. And the thing about that, once you date interracially, the same guy that's corny and boring and he works too much and I don't like his laugh, if he changes races and he becomes a white guy, all of a sudden he's the best thing since sliced bread. All of a sudden he tamed you. He made a real woman out of me, and he was able to provide and do these things. It's like, well, you didn't want that guy when he was black though. So, watch yourself with that. And that's what we're trying to tell y'all, like, you're being very inconsistent. And that's why to a degree I made a video earlier a while back about suffering from swirling, because there's chicks who meet the guy who they didn't want to talk to, while they're with the guy they thought was quote unquote better because of basically race, um, and they kind of feel stuck because you can't say somebody's better than somebody and then you're with them and tuck your tail between your legs and go back and say, well, I was wrong. I was disrespecting you for nothing. You know, can you love me now? That's not going to work. Excuse me. On the aspect of matriarchy and patriarchy, uh, that's another problem. You know, for years, women have been saying as a group that they don't need no man. I'm strong. I'm independent. I don't need a man. They've That has been passed down to generations, and generations have been brainwashed with that strong. They're strong. They're independent. They don't need a man. You know, to the point I remember one of my like little nieces. I used to laugh at her because she was like, "I'm a strong black independent woman." I'd be like, "Girl, you in the fourth grade? What the hell are you talking about?" And and we would laugh, but I meant what I was saying. It was still funny, and the other family members knew what was up, but they knew that was a bad idea, mindset for a little girl that young to have. I was like, she gonna be hell on these guys by the time she get to high school, cause damn, she don't need a man even before. And then she has a dad, so don't put that into that thing. But you don't even need a man when you're preteen, and then you get to a teenager, you don't need a man, and you become an adult. It's a cycle that just leads downhill, and that bad programming takes a while to get out of your system because you got to deprogram yourself. And a lot of times, sometimes um, when y'all complain about that, about the community now, because if you say you don't need us, you don't want us, you don't want us around, now we're not around, the community went to shit, and now it's our fault, you want us to fix it, but you never said you wanted us back. You never said you was wrong. You never said you sorry. You just said, well, you should know that I was gonna fuck this up. Without saying you should have known I was gonna fuck this up. Like, it's bad. So that's part of the riff. Like you got the matriarchy you wanted to create a community, but the community it created wasn't the one you thought it was gonna be. And now it's not our fault. It's your fault because of the choices some of you made and some of the mantras y'all perpetuated and other people ran with that just didn't make sense. Um, and as far as ego is concerned, because that's part of the ego too, a lot of times y'all really think y'all doing something when y'all not. We're trying to tell y'all, you're not killing it the way you think you're killing it. And when men try to tell black women that, it's like, look, I'm not dismissing what you're doing, but I am saying compare apples to apples. If you feel like you're the cream of the crop, date the cream of the crop. Don't date what you think is below you or beneath you, and then say everybody is beneath you, because it's not true. Because if you date somebody, because a lot of times, a lot of you ladies have a difficulty dating men that are quote unquote on your level or above your level because it doesn't go with the programming that you programmed that you were better than guys. And it's difficult to acquiesce and say, maybe I'm not as good as I thought. Like, it's kind of the similar thing that, see, people think black men we're better athletically just because we're better athletically. And slavery and all other shit. No, it's really not that. It's really the fact that iron sharpens iron. And sports have rules, and everybody knows the rules. So you can't cheat midstream and win. So a lot of times that's why there's like, black guys dominate sports over quote unquote white guys, right? It's because we can, when the rules are set in place, and everybody knows it, and there's penalties. If you holding, it's not, it's holding. It's not holding because you white or holding because you black. It's holding. It's cheating. Cheating is cheating. We excel at stuff like that, and white guys kind of sometimes don't excel against us because of the fact that they have been taught their whole lives they were just better than us, better than us, better than us, better. But then when it was a level, even playing field, their work ethic and their reality of in real time what goes down completely changed because I was putting in work while you just thought you was better. I was getting better while you just thought you was inherently better. So when we get at the same space at the same time, I'm better than you because I worked to be better than you. There was no support system to cheat me into winning. And you have no support system to cheat you into winning because everybody knows the rules now. And even if you won cheating, even your home team will be like, yeah, you're not better than them. And you'll know it too. So that's the thing. Like, that's why I say compare apples to apples. Like, you gotta watch it. Like, you just gotta watch it. So, because a lot of times we're telling y'all stuff, we're telling it for y'all benefit. Y'all might not like what we saying, how we saying it, because you weren't accustomed to a male's point of view, a male's opinion, a male's tone, a male's energy, and and you were taught it was probably beneath you, so you dismiss it. But it's the truth. But we're being completely honest with you, and we would rather be honest with you. If I love you, I'm gonna be honest with you. If I don't love you, I'm just not gonna talk to you. You know. So sometimes what I'm saying is the fact that we're talking and we're being honest is not a sign of hate. It's actually a sign of love. It's just you're not accustomed to our quote unquote tough love. I'm out.